Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's PJ here with another new deck profile for Temporal Forces and the rotation. We want to prep you so you're ready and make sure that you know every single deck profile before the rotation hits. This will also give you some insight on what type of cards that you should be looking into buying, as well as how you should just form your gameplay with the rotation at bay. Now, we're going to talk about a very special deck and one that's close to my heart. It's Snorlax Stall today. So, Snorlax Stall has been really ripping it up over in Japan in the Japanese meta and just taking down these big, powerful decks. How does it do it? Well, you're going to find out in today's video. We're going to be covering the full deck profile for you here and talking about each new card that we're going to be adding into the list. Now, before we get into the list, I do want to give a special shout out to all of our sponsors, which you can find down in the description below of this video, and you can also use some awesome affiliate codes to save you money on Pokemon trading card game products. Aside from that, you can learn all about the competitive game from all these pros on the Shuffle Squad at our Patreon. Now, patreon.com/TSSWin is where you'll find that, again, down in the description of the video, so you can get awesome articles and even more discount codes over there. Let's hop over and talk about this list a little bit more so you know how to block your opponent out of playing the game. All right, we're going to cover this deck here. It's the post-rotation block Snorlax. Obviously, we've got our friend here, Snorlax, who is able to help us out with blocking our opponent's Pokemon. So what we're going to do first is just run through the Pokemon line. For very obvious reasons, we do have 4 of that Snorlax. Just for consistency purposes, you want to have all 4 there. Then, other than that, we're going to have a Mimikyu, which blocks any attacks from Pokemon V or EX. As long as they don't go through that ability, you're pretty safe and it buys you a turn. A new addition to the Pokemon line here is going to be the Mantine. Now, this is from Astral Radiance. We do have the Mantine with the Born Ashore attack here. For 1 colorless energy, you could either choose your discard or your opponent's discard, which is very important because we've lost Echoing Horn. And you could put a Pokemon from that discard pile onto that person's or player's bench, which is good in cases that maybe one of your Snorlax got knocked out and you need it back. And also very good if your opponent decides to discard a card and you get to put it on their bench. So really cool there. We do have the Rotom V Classic in a Snorlax block deck with the instant charge ability, able to draw 3 cards and end your turn. You're not attacking, so you're going to be using this a lot as your draw engine. Then we do have a Pidgeot V here. So we've got Pidgeot V with Vanishing Wings is the ability. Anything that's attached to Pidgeot V also goes back into your deck along with Pidgeot V. That way you're not decking out, so it's really cool there. Make sure you're not decking yourself out playing a stall deck. And then we have the Pièce de Résistance, the Chi-Yu EX here, which rounds out the Pokemon line. And Chi-Yu EX is going to use the Jealousy Singe attack most of the time here for 1 fire energy and able to discard the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. So really cool there. I love having Chi-Yu in a deck. It's similar to how Crabominable V was in the current standard format, but now with rotation, since that's gone, this is our option. Now here, we're going to start the supporter line with the 4 of Arven. Now, don't kill me here in the comments that I have mismatching art. The other Arven's on its way. But we do have 4 Arvens for consistency purposes. We want to keep that Arven flowing with all of our item cards and our tool cards in this deck. So very cool to have 4 Arven. Then we have 3 of the Pennies here. Penny's able to loop your Pokemon. A lot of your Pokemon, if you notice, they are tankier Pokemon. And we're not going to be able to find them with things like Friendship Poffin or Buddy Poffin, however it comes out to be translated. And you're going to have to tank a hit most of the time and then pick that Pokemon up and loop it. So it's pretty annoying for your opponent. Now, if we're talking about being annoying, we have this brand new supporter card here. And this is going to be Eri. Eri is able to look at your opponent's hand. So a little bit of hand control now coming into this stall deck. And you can go in and take 2 item cards from your opponent's hand and put them right in the discard pile. How cool is that? So you're able to control the switch cards so your opponent can't switch out of the block Snorlax. So really good there with Eri. Now to add on top of that annoyance, we do have 2 of the Misfortune Sisters here. So we've got 2 Misfortune Sisters able to look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, Now moving to deck control, and you can discard any items that you find there in those 5. So you're able to mill your opponent a little bit more on top of the Jealousy Singe attack here. And then we have 2 of the Erika's Invitation. We still get to look at our opponent's hand, and we could pick a basic Pokemon, move it to the active spot, and most likely block it with Snorlax. On top of this, we have a little bit more hand control, going back and forth between hand control and deck control. And this is going to be Iono. So 2 Ionos in this list, just so you can go ahead and give yourself a fresh new hand of 6, because chances are we're not taking any prizes with this style of deck. So we want to reset our hand 6 cards, and then our opponent gets a smaller hand size, most likely because they've knocked out some of our Pokemon. So keeping the game alive here with Iono, in case you're not able to loop yourself, which we'll talk about in a minute here. Then we have 2 of the Boss's Orders. Just in case we have to boss something in a pinch and we don't have any items to do so, we do still have the 2 of Boss's Orders. Now, one of these could probably get swapped with something else, but I like having 2 just, again, for consistency purposes. We're not going to have too many ways of getting things out of the prizes, which we'll talk about in just a second. So our one of supporters here are going to be the Giacomo. Now, they're still twin or double turbo energy rather in our format right now. Twin's been long gone. What am I talking about? So double turbo energy, jet energy, and the new mist energy are all going to be special energies in our updated rotation format. So we want to make sure that we're getting rid of a lot of those. So being cautious of that, we have the one Giacomo, and then we have a Cyllene here. So Cylene's able to flip and get some things back into our deck that we couldn't necessarily get before, so Cylene's a very useful card. I would not hate seeing a list with 2 Cylenes in it, actually. And in case we need more Cyllene action, we can always put it back with Team Yellow's Cheer. Now we can pick either supporter cards or Pokemon in a combination of 3 and put them back in. Generally, what we're trying to do is loop that Cyllene back into the deck and use it again. Now, a new trainer card for this list is not necessarily a new trainer card, but Daisy's Help is coming into this list. Daisy's Help is going to help us immensely because we did lose things like Peonia. Now, Peonia was able to look at 3 cards, pick them up, put them in your hand, and you could swap out 3 cards from your hand with your prize cards, which is really great in case you prize something that was really trivial for the game to continue, or, you know, something that you really needed. Maybe you prized a couple of Snorlax. What Daisy's Help does is you get to draw 2 cards and you get to look at all of your prize cards. Now, you don't have to move your prize cards around, which is something that is very important in the upcoming format. You need to be able to know where your prize cards are in case you did prize something. And to help out with that, I did include one of the Arc Phone here. So combination of Daisy's Help and Arc Phone. Arc Phone will let you look at the top card of your deck and swap it with any of your prize cards. Now, if you took note when you use Daisy's Help, you'll know exactly where your prize cards are. That way you could swap directly with a card that you need. Going into the items now that we've already talked about Arc Phone, we do have 4 of the Pokégear, and yeah, I like the older art of Pokégear. I'm too poor to buy all the gold ones right now, but we're getting there. But Pokégear, able to find any of our supporter cards in a pinch. We get to look at the top 7 cards of our deck and see if we find what we need. So in case we can't draw into it normally, Pokégear is going to help us stretch into our deck and get there. Next on our list, we've got 4 of Counter Catcher. Pretty self-explanatory here. We're going behind on prizes. We want to lock something into the active. Counter Catcher is going to help us do that. Then we have, for consistency purposes, to get our Pokemon out onto the field, we do have 4 of these Nest Balls. And sorry, my cards are a little slippery today. Brand new sleeves here. Shout out to Ultimate Guard for providing sleeves for this video. We have Nest Ball, 4 Nest Ball, able to find our Pokemon. We did lose Battle VIP, so I want to keep the Nest Ball at a 4 count here for sure. Then we do have 2 of these Pal Pads, just to recycle our trainers back. We want to generally Cyllene a Pal Pad, get that Cyllene back eventually, and keep that loop going so we don't deck out. Maybe we prized our Pidgeot V, something like that. Or maybe we need some of our other supporters to help us finish the game. We want a Penny loop, we could use Pal Pad. Here's a card I love having 2 of, and that is Switch Cart. So Switch Cart, I know a lot of lists I've seen have gone down to only 1 Switch Cart. I really don't like 1 Switch Cart. I love having 2. A lot of things seem like they're going to get stuck in the active, so having 2 Switch Cart is really good here. I am going to show this card here, which is Super Rod. We all know what that does. We're getting Pokemon back into the deck. And then Lure Module to round out all of the item cards here. Lure Module is great because not only can it help you with consistency for things like Nest Ball to get your Pokemon out, while you look at the top 3 cards of your deck to see if there's any Pokemon there. But if your opponent just so happens to reveal that they have a Pokemon in their hand, maybe they didn't want it, then you can use your Erika's Invitation and put that Pokemon onto the field, bring it into the active, and block it with Snorlax. So Lure Module is really cool, really cute little tech that I like adding in the list. Let's talk about some of the tool cards here. We do have 2 of the Bravery charms in this list. So Bravery charm is going to definitely help us out beefing up our Pokemon. We want to give them extra 50 HP. Any one of the Pokemon can use it. A brand new tool card that we could use in this list is going to be the Hero's Cape. Now, Hero's Cape is an A-Spec, so you can only have 1 in your deck. This gives plus 100 HP to any of our Pokemon, so if we're tanking a hit with Hero's Cape on a 250 hit point Snorlax, we can just penny it back up and use it over and over again. What's nice is that it has some synergy here with Cyllene. Cyllene can flip a coin and maybe even put Hero's Cape back. So I do only have 3 tool cards for HP boosting, and then I have the one of Forest Sealstone here too. Now, Forest Sealstone is great because we're able to attach it to either of our V Pokemon, flip it, use the Star Alchemy ability, and find any of the single-use cards in our deck or something that we really, really need. Now let's talk about the stadiums. We still have 3 Temple of Sinnoh. We talked about using Giacomo to get rid of those energies. Now we can shut off the effects of those energies too with Temple of Sinnoh. Beforehand, we have 4 copies of Temple of Sinnoh. I think we're just going to go to 3. And then to round out the stadiums, I have 1 of Artazon here too. We have Artazon for, again, consistency purposes. We keep going back to losing Battle VIP Pass in this deck, and now we have so many ways of finding our Pokemon easier between Lure Module, Nest Ball, and now even Artazon, where we can get our Snorlax, Mantine, or Mimikyu out on the field. That way we don't get donked. So easy ways to get your Pokemon out. And to round out the list, we have 2 Fire Energies. Now, the 2 Fire Energies is great because not only can we find it easier to use Jealousy Singe, but we can also use the secondary attack here, which is Flame Surge for 100 damage. In case we do have to start knocking out some Pokemon that are giving us a hard time, we do have 2 energies. So this is going to round out my current list. This could change in the future, but this is pretty much where I'm at for a new post-rotation block Snorlax list. Now, if you do like this list, let me know in the comments. And if you don't like the list, let me know there too. But we're going to leave this full deck list in the comments and in the description of the video. That way you can copy and paste it into PTCG Live and test it out for yourself, maybe annoy a couple people on the ladder and just have fun with Pokemon. You know, Pokemon the trading card game is a fun game. I love alternative win conditions, and this definitely has it. We're going to hop back over and I'll talk to you about some closing thoughts about the deck, and we'll let you go. And there we have it. That was Snorlax Stall or Block Snorlax. We got to see all of the awesome new cards. Some I'm really excited about trying to use in this new format. And that way we can just really lock our opponent out of playing the game. I love that new supporter card, Eri. I think that it's very innovative to use Daisy's help too. I want to see how effective Lure Module actually is. And I also want to hear what your comments are on this list. Do you love it? Do you just hate Stall? I want to hear about all of it down in the comments below. Make sure that if you did like videos like this, since we are trying something new, giving you a tabletop perspective, what you thought about the video too. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more competitive content like this. And as always, we will catch you next time on the Shuffle Squad.
Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. Hey trainers, tired of having too many cards lying around? I know that feeling, and I know what a hassle it is to try and sell those cards. But selling bulk is now easier than ever with TCG Bulk. Find tons of potential buyers in a single place. You just download the app, look for the best buyer near you, and carefully pack your bulk, ship it, and you get paid. It really is that simple. Turn the cards you don't want into the cards you absolutely need for your next deck. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.